Welcome to the ChickenBytes podcast series, in which we unpack the issues currently facing the South African poultry industry. In this podcast series, with Dr. Gustav Brink as our guest, we will explore the main contributing factors to challenges in SA's poultry industry. In a recent Business Tech article, Dr. Brink, you suggested that inefficiencies in the poultry industry are a bigger issue than the dumping challenge. Can you elaborate on this?
A couple of years ago, when we were busy working on one of the anti-dumping cases, in the industry's application, what came out was that, as was then Rainbow Foods, had moved quite a bit, maybe 5% or so, of its production away from the lowest possible price product, which is your IQF mixed portions, into a value-added product, which was ready-made chicken meal, which you literally put in the microwave and then you have your meal. And that is really what the industry should be looking at. What we are doing at this stage is, unlike the rest of the world, and especially Europe and the US, for instance, and I know we have different product preferences, which we'll get into, but we don't try to maximize the value of the poultry cuts. What we do is we take roughly 70 to 75%, depending on who you listen to, of our total poultry production, and we sell it as IQF mixed portions, which is the lowest price product that you get in the market. Now, if I'm a businessman, that is the last product I want to sell. I want to sell, first of all, a skinless, deboned breast, fresh, because that sells in the shops at 100, 115 rands a kilo, whereas IQF sells at 35 or 40 rands a kilo, which means as a producer, I might be getting 50 or 60 rands a kilo instead of getting 25 rands a kilo. So why am I investing more money for the freezing process? So it actually costs me more to produce IQF than a fresh product. Yet I push everything into not even chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks, chicken breasts as IQF, but I just throw everything together and I sell it at the lowest price I can. Now, of course, for the consumer, and if you look at the consumer that buys the mixed portions, I mean, that is the poorest of the poor. They do need access to cheap protein. So, of course, from their perspective, it's wonderful. But industry should not complain about lack of profit when they have deliberately selected to sell the lowest possible price product. It just, from a commercial point of view, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you look at maybe 2-3 days ago, there was an article about Astral that is now moving to produce a tinned product. So canned breasts with what they call Oma gravy that they hope will be able to compete with canned pilchards, etc. Now, that's been on the card since, I think there was an article in about February on that, so we're now 9 months down the line. But of course, they've now done a lot of additional research and those type of things, and tested the product to see if it can work, and now they're ready to launch. Now, that's a value-added product. Yes, it might still be a relatively cheap product, but it's something different. It's something innovative. It's something that will have a shelf life of 2 to 3 years. It's in I'm not sure what the can size would be, if it would be 250 or 400 gram. But I mean, that is something that somebody can buy and keep it on the shelf. And when they want chicken, they have it. And they don't even need electricity at home for that. So even though it's a low value product, it's probably going to give Astral a lot more revenue per kilogram than something like IQF would do. So that's the first thing. We have to move away from IQF.
Do stay tuned for episode 2 of the Dr. Gustav Brink podcast series, in which we will discuss dumping and international sanitary requirements. Thank you for joining us today on ChickenBytes, and we hope to have you on the next episode.